All right, good afternoon again, everyone in the hub. So this second video here, I'm going to walk you through what your students will see when they log in for the first time. And I don't claim to be an expert on this. I've just used it before, so I have seen what it looks like. So I'm going to log in though as the fake student that I created and sort of walk you through what it's going to look like and what some of the prompts are going to mean. So first student, her demo.student at 5towns.net, and demo student was my password. And they log in at the same, they log in at the same start URL as I do. So essentialed.com/start/5towns is where I began, where I signed up with them. And this is the first screen that pops up. So start studying by selecting a course from one of our course groups above or click on one below. We want HiSET Academy, so I'm going to click on that.
Welcome to the HiSET Academy. My name is Leonard, and I'm going to be a personal teacher. My job is to help you pass the HiSET test.
Are you studying during a class? I'm going to click
What I hear most from my students is that they want to wait.
Sorry. So Leonard is a rather frustrating man, but he comes up and he has instructional videos on everything. So if you get confused, Leonard is going to be your guy, this little man here. But I just wanted to say the first question that popped up said, are you working in a class? And so I clicked yes. If a student is working from home without your support, they could click no. And all that does is when we look at the data of how many hours your students have spent online, it will separate it out between in a class hours and outside of class hours. So if a student is working with you, select yes. If they're not working with you, select no. And then this getting started video will pop up each time. And so I'll let you watch that on your own time. But there are some helpful tidbits here. And it shows that we're in HiSET Academy, and I'm just going to go ahead and click Get Started. So the first thing asks to set a study goal. So how many hours per week does the student want to study? And I try and have a conversation with students about this depending on what their home life looks like, what their work schedule looks like, and it shows them whether or not they're meeting their goals with the little bar chart on their homepage, which is nice. So I'm going to say I want to spend 3 hours per week doing this. And this is for all subjects, not necessarily just one. So now we want to select the subject we want to study from the menu. So for me, I'm a math teacher, so I'm going to select mathematics. But on the left-hand side, you can see they could do reading, writing, part 1 and 2, science, and social studies. So I'm going to click mathematics. And then here there's another choice. And so because I think it's good for students to get the feel of the practice test in, I have had most of my students, if we have time, take the practice test. If you're short on time, the self-assessment is another option, or you can have students go directly into the pre-HiSET lessons, which starts them at the very, very most basic. And if their skills are really weak, that might be a good idea as well. I will warn you, the practice test can be a little defeating for some students. They sort of didn't realize how much they don't know. So being there to support them through that is a good thing. So let's say I want to take the practice test if I have time. There are 25 questions. Relax and do your best. That's a good piece of advice for them. And it says, guessing is a good idea on the actual test, but not for this test. We really want to know what you know. So if you're unsure of the answer, we can review and come back to it later or not answer. So let's go ahead and see. So here I would pick, I think this is the answer. On the right-hand side, they give us some formulas that we might need that might be helpful, similar to the real test. And none of this is relevant for this question, but here if we need them. If I was unsure about this question, I could mark to review later. I'm going to go on to the next. I'm going to say I want to mark to review this one later so we can see what it looks like. And this is one I wanted to look at. So in some of the questions, they allow you to use a calculator, and if so, the calculator will pop up on the screen. So in this question, I would click calculator. I can use whatever buttons I want here. Clear, you can turn it off to get rid of it. There's a calculator help button if they get stuck there, and the same formulas appear here. I'm not going to actually do these problems, so I'll just tab through just so we can see what happens at the end. But it is good practice, these 25 questions. A lot of students get a little bit stressed as they go through and are like, man, I didn't realize how much I forgot or how much I didn't know. But I think it's still good for them to practice, and at the end you can go back to these questions and have a discussion about maybe why they got it wrong, if they thought it was just a simple mistake, or if it's something they really need to spend some time on. And those are potentially areas that you could assign later on. Sorry, got to get all the way to 25. And I have found this program has been really helpful with students, just keeping them organized. It gives them a clear visual of how much work they still need to do, how much time they should be spending to get there, and the next lesson will just continually pop up for them, which I also find to be really helpful. They don't have to go searching for what they want to do. They just have to open up the program and click Start Learning. All right, almost done. And that was the last question. So as I click Next, there is one question that I marked for review. And so this piece says, review your questions. Go back to and review the questions you marked. So I will do that. It looks like question 2 I marked for review. And so I'm going to say, I think this is the answer. And then go back to all questions. And I'm going to submit the test as a student. All right, and so you can see my guessing did not do very well for me. I got a 4 out of 20. And so there are two options once you get here. You can review. If I click on the review tab. Sorry, it's going a little slowly right now. There we go. So it tells you which questions you got correct and which you got incorrect. And so I could click on any of the incorrect questions, and as an instructor, this is a good spot to have a discussion with your students about, okay, well, when we look through these questions, was this something you just totally guessed on? Was this something you had no idea about? Anything like that. And then I'm going to say, when I'm done talking about all those questions, I'm going to go back to the homeroom. And here's Leonard.
Hi, I'm Leonard.
With some instructional information for the students. And this is actually a really good one for you and the students to watch because it explains the whole layout of the program. And so I'm going to stop this video here, and in the next video I'll show you how to navigate the homeroom page when we get there.